I'm Shay McIntyre with the Hub office, and I'm going to go through some overview information with you. And then we also are going to have, Amanda Meyer, and then she has also a support team member with her. They're from the electronic vendor portal team. And then we also have Melvin Williams, who is from Department of Adult Corrections, and he's doing some work very specifically as a Hub liaison. And so you'll be able to hear some of the work that's going on so that you can kind of understand how some of these different pieces fit together. And with that, I will go ahead and let's see, got to make sure that my buttons are working here. My slide isn't advancing. Let's see what's happening. There we go. All right. So I know that we have a host of different interest in the group on today. We're going to hit some things high level. And again, as Will has said, you'll have a chance to ask questions that you may have. We're addressing then in terms of the audience. So we're talking Hub firms want to understand a little bit more about how to get recertified and then actually how to use the electronic vendor portal. I know that we have some firms that are not yet certified and so want to hear about the process of Hub certification. And then we also have others that just need to be able to know how to find vendors, how to, again, utilize this new EVP system that has come into play as of July of this year. So with that, do a quick overview of the Hub office. We'll talk a little bit about the certification process and new EVP. We want to talk a little bit about finding opportunities and just in general, some things about doing business with the state. And then Melvin will come in to assist us with what's going on within his agency, the great work that's going on. I'd like to start with this. We kind of call it the alphabet soup. But when it comes to certifications, certifications can be a fairly broad topic. So for context, what we're going to do is to talk about certification, which is you may hear it referenced as the SWUC, the Statewide Uniform Certification, or just the Hub, Historically Underutilized Business Certification. Those are one and the same. They're state level certifications, and they also come into play at a local level for organizations that are utilizing the Hub status in order to classify for some of the work that is going on at the local level. Now, there are federal government certifications also. So sometimes the Hub program, which is state level certification, gets confused with the Hub Zone program, which is a federal government certification program, and they're different. Our Hub certification is based on the ownership of the business, whereas the Hub Zone certification at the federal level is going to be based on where the business is located in designated Hub zones. There are maps that are laid out for that. And then also based on the makeup of the employee base and where they work. So just want to be able to distinguish those things. And then beyond kind of the government related certification programs that your business may consider getting certified in and looking for opportunities in those different spaces, there are also national certifications. And so organizations such as Women's Business Enterprise National Council has a certification. And then there's the National Minority Supplier Development Council that also has a certification. Those are for fee. Whereas the government related ones, there's no fee associated with them. And they simply represent different pockets of where opportunities exist. Government related on the left side, mostly corporation and kind of private entity related opportunities on the right-hand side of the screen there. Okay. And so with that, just a brief overview of our Hub office. So we manage the Hub certification process. We also have a North Carolina Small Business Enterprise certification that has been available for the last couple of years. There's a huge advocacy arm that is existing that goes along also with the compliance, the reporting of the various organizations throughout the state of North Carolina. And there literally are hundreds of them. And then we also offer some business development services, which is really focused on helping businesses to understand how to navigate state government. So we offer a number of different trainings along those lines, and then we work some individually with businesses. We're in the process of kind of revamping some of that so that we can work with even more firms. And then last but not least, we also operate the Minority Business Development Agency Business Center. That is a program that was established primarily to focus on assisting mature businesses. And so generally, there's about a 500,000 revenue and above target audience that we have with that particular program. But it is yet another way. And one thing about North Carolina is that there are many, many opportunities to get assistance for businesses, no matter what state your business currently is in order to continue to help you grow your business. This is just to kind of highlight, to give you some idea of where the spending at a state level has been. So last fiscal year, the state spent over $11 billion on goods and services and spent $1.2 billion in the area of construction. The state has a goal to spend 10% or more of its dollars with hub firms. And so you can see on the goods and services side, we only spent a little over 6%. Now that's better than the previous year. And so the trend we want to see continue to go up, but you can see that there's still quite a bit of opportunity in terms of getting hubs into the process. On the construction side, we did really well. Over 27% of those dollars were spent with hub firms. This is just to give you an idea. A lot of times we get the questions about, what does the state buy? The bottom line is the state buys pretty much some of everything. Now, sometimes there may be a challenge in terms of knowing at what level those procurements are taking place. So some of it's coming through many of the agencies, some of it's coming at a lower level where maybe those dollars are allocated to a different level, maybe a regional model. So that's all a part of the things that we try to help understand, as we go through the process of kind of navigating state government. There's also something called state term contracts. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, what you can see is many, many opportunities for goods and services and construction that exist across the state. And Melvin, I saw you pop on the screen. Were you going to share something with us?
No, go ahead, Shay. I'll catch it when I come on.
Okay, all righty. So what is a hub firm? And Will, I know you were taking a survey at the beginning. Do we have some firms on now that are not yet certified? I want to make sure that I
Yes, we do. We have 13 firms that are uncertified.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the requirements or eligibility for hub firms. And basically, it means that the company is 51% or more owned, operated, and controlled by individuals that are in the hub certification categories that are listed below. And so the first category is minority, and you can see the minority categories that make up that particular type of certification. If a business does not qualify as a minority, then we look at the next category, which would be a female-owned business. if the business doesn't qualify there, the state of North Carolina also has a disabled business owner category that can be certified as a hub. And then last, there is kind of a general disadvantage socially and economically category. So again, it's important that there be not just the ownership as far as the percentage of business that's owned, but it also really truly has to be controlled and operated as such by the categories that are listed there. This gives you an idea. So as of earlier in the month of September, we currently have around 6,800 hub firms, and they're really spread across the state of North Carolina. There are still a few counties where we have no hub firms, and so the work continues to go there and to really look for opportunities to kind of penetrate and get local support really to effectively utilize those businesses in the local procurement. Now, what really are benefits of being hub certified? Well, again, the state has a goal of 10% minimum participation of hubs in the state procurement process. And so that's where we want to make sure we utilize the hub database. So once your firm becomes certified, you go into this vendor database that is a public database. So it gives you some visibility. And the reality is that even though the database is primarily maintained for the purpose of state government contracting, we also have opportunities that when, let's say that there's a new company that's coming into the area, they've got some goals that they're working on. They're not really state government related per se, but they're also coming to the database to find firms that meet the criteria that they're looking for. We even have just individuals that are looking for services. And so they want to do business with, with underutilized firms. So they'll come to the database to do that. Hub does offer a number of training opportunities. And so each month, we have various trainings that are going on, anything from, tax preparation. There's a monthly webinar that's presented, and it's called our Purchasing 101. And it really does just try to help you, again, to understand how state government operates. And that way, the business is in a position to really put together what your strategy is. There's no one strategy. There's no one thing that works overall the same for every business. It's something where you have to really assess based on where your business currently is, what it is that you're really wanting to achieve, what are the opportunities that are out there? Are you already positioned to pursue those opportunities? Are there some different things that need to take place? And we know that we've got businesses that fall all across those various spectrums of, kind of readiness and wanting to pursue those opportunities. Now, for the certification process, then, you can go to the Hub Office website. Right there on the main page, you can see where there's the certification information. You just click there and it'll take you through the process. It's also really easy to Google getting to the Hub Office. If you just simply Google NC Hub, then it will get you to our main website. And of course, I mean, I'm sure these slides will also be distributed to you, so you'll have the live links also to be able to use. Of course, since everything is online, you're going to need internet access. You'll need a federal tax ID. Some businesses use their EIN number. If you're a sole proprietor, you may not have an EIN. You just may be using your social, whatever that federal tax ID is that you choose to use within your business. Then that's what you'll need to provide in order to get registered into the electronic vendor portal with the state of North Carolina. And then, of course, your email address. And when you're registering your business, always make sure that the company name that you're inputting to the system matches exactly what's listed on any legal documents that you have. So even when, for example, if you're a sole proprietor and maybe you are operating as a DBA And so you want to be able to have a company name that's different than your own name. Then just be sure to provide that information so things match up. It just kind of helps keep the process flowing. So to get registered into the electronic vendor portal, you go to the link that's listed there. You'll select, either to sign in or register, complete that process. Now, as a part of what you will do in completing that process is you're going to select either some commodity codes and or construction codes. There are a number of different options that allow you to describe what the business services and or products are that your business offers. And so what happens as a part of that process is that then this EVP system, which also contains the solicitation opportunities, they'll look at the business services and or products that your company provides. And so on an automated basis, you'll start to get emails to your inbox of opportunities that match what your business does. So next thing is still there in the EVP system. You'll apply for the Hub certification. It also applies for the NCSBE certification. So you'll navigate to the page. You'll fill out some additional information in the system, and then there is a list of required documents that will be generated based on your business structure. Now, if for some reason you really do already have a certification, either some people have already done a federal certification, or maybe you've done one of those certifications through WeBank or CVMSDC, then there's something that we call a reciprocity. It's just simply a shorter way. You have to provide less documents in order to become Hub certified. So if that's the case, of course, we're going to provide some contact information also for you for any questions that you may have. There is training that is available on the eProcurement website. So the EVP system is owned and is operated by the Purchase and Contracts Division of North Carolina. And the training covers how to get registered in EVP, the specifics of the Hub registration, the specifics of the NCSBE registration. Also, if you need some additional help, and then we'll also provide a helpline for you. To complete the Hub certification, again, you're either going to do what we call kind of the standard statewide uniform certification process, also known as the Hub certification. And then there are two options for what we call reciprocity. Here, again, if you're certified already through the Department of Transportation, through their Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certification, i.e. their DBE program, then we have a shortcut for you to become Hub certified. If you are certified through one of the entities listed there on the right-hand side of the screen, then again, we have a shortcut, or we call it reciprocity, that allows you then to still become certified as a Hub vendor. Once you have completed the initial registration, applying for certification within EVP, you'll be generated a list of required documents that will need to be loaded into the system within 30 days. We have all of that information posted on the website, so you can also, for those firms that are new and also for firms that are recertifying, you can actually go to our website. You can kind of look and make sure that you have what you need. If you have any particular questions, then we're happy to address any questions that you may have. This is just really a highlight of some of the required documents that you would need to have in order to complete the process. And so I just want to make sure that just wanted to highlight a few of these because sometimes I know when we look at the list can be a little overwhelming. It's not necessarily as complicated as it may seem. And so just want to hit a few highlights here in the process. You will need to provide proof of ethnicity because most of the documents, so for example, if you give us a license, it doesn't state what your ethnicity is on the license. And we can't make any assumptions by looking at your picture, what ethnicity you are. So if you don't have a document that states what your ethnicity is, there is an affidavit that you can fill out online. Okay, if you got a passport, some of those things may have it. A schedule of salaries is requested. And so if you're using a payroll company, then just have them generated. But if you're not using a payroll company, you can simply just estimate what you have paid yourself over the last 12 months and say, hey, on average, this is what I'm paying myself on a monthly basis. Documented proof of contributions used to acquire ownership for each owner. If there's more than one owner, well, regardless, if it's just one, we want to see just the list of how your business got started. It could be as simple as I paid $225 for my LLC. I opened a bank account with $100 in it. I bought a computer so I could do my administrative stuff for the business. So just summarize it, submit that as a part of what you're sharing with us. Copies of professional licenses, we only need those if they're required for you to perform the business that you do. So as an example, if you're an HVAC or electrical person, you got to have that license and provide a copy to us. If you have if you have office space or storage space, you don't have to have it. It's just that if you do, we need to see signed copies. If you're not leasing, if you don't have a separate office, just say, make a statement. I am a home-based business. I operate from, give us what your address is. Okay. Again, list of equipment. If you're using it, if you have either purchased or if you've leased it, just give us a summary. Bank statements, and then two business letters of reference. All right. So again, that's just kind of a highlight to try to keep you moving so you don't get bogged down in providing that. And even when it comes to letters of reference, y'all, you know how sometimes it works. You may write the letter yourself and just ask for your client to sign it if they agree, rather than wait for them to put together a letter. Sometimes you got to kind of help them through the process. Okay. So that's that. I'm going to keep on moving here so I don't take all the time. All right. Our NCSBE program, Small Business Enterprise Program, is a race, ethnicity, and gender neutral program. And it is based on the size of your business as it relates to revenue and also the number of employees. The firm must be a for-profit that's headquartered here in the state of North Carolina with a net income of 1.5 million or less after the cost of goods sold is deducted, and have 100 or less employees. And again, the certification process is in the EVP system. If you're eligible for either of those certifications, you're going to get a letter. It will have your certification category in it. And the certification, this certification lasts for 4 years. So you're good if everything basically stays the same as far as your eligibility goes. If for some reason, there's a change in that might affect your ability to be eligible as a hub, then we ask for that to be submitted in writing within 30 days, and we'll review that information. And there will also be a certification number that is attached to your certification, and that's new with the EVP system. That did not exist before. But in general, you probably don't typically need to use a certification number. Normally, when you are sharing your hub certification status, just include a copy of your letter. A lot of times that's usually the best thing to do. All right, for those that are already hub certified, the recertification process, again, you'll do it in EVP. There is a very limited list of required documents that you will provide this time around. So significantly different than when you first certified. And you'll also receive notices 60 days ahead and 30 days prior to the time that your certification expires within the system. So again, you want to go ahead and initiate that process, get those documents loaded into the system, within 30 days. Just a few nuggets about our MBD, our Minority Business Development Agency Business Center. It was established in 2021. It is a 5-year grant. The focus, again, is on, in this particular case, it's a focus on minority-owned firms. And the goal is to help them reach new markets, extend their footprint. In some cases, maybe they're bringing new products or services in. In other cases, guess what? They're sizing, they're making their product or services even more narrow, because they've decided that focusing on a more narrow set of business actually better enables them to grow their business. So again, it's one of those things where strategies that each business uses is going to vary from business to business, lots of different factors involved. And so that's why ultimately, kind of have to take a look at your business and decide what works the best for you. So now, potential customers, as you can see from the slides here, many, many, many. All right, there are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of potential opportunities for you to do business. But at the end of the day, pick 3 to 5, right? Each business, if you're interested in doing government contracting, pick 3 to 5 places that you're going to concentrate on marketing your business, building relationships, getting to know what are the kinds of things that they're doing and where you fit into the mix. And so, for some, all of that may be at a community college level. All of that may be, in another case, maybe somebody is focused on a particular state agency. Maybe your, Melvin is here, DAC has some special efforts that are going on. So again, it's there's broad opportunity, but at the end of the day, each business only has so much time that you can spend. So be very intentional, spend some time getting to know where some potential opportunities are that make the most sense for your business. Finding opportunities and developing your business. EVP is where you will find, again, all the solicitations now that are what we call formal solicitations. And so if you don't know what that means, please come and visit our Purchasing 101 monthly workshop so that you can kind of understand the various levels of opportunities as it relates to how business is done. We also have a hub solicitation opportunity site. Now, whereas the EVP system is automated, relative to the products and services that you define in the business or in the portal that your business provides, there will be automated notifications that you receive. For the hub solicitation opportunities, that's a place where businesses, so maybe it's prime contractors, maybe there's a particular agency, they're specifically seeking hub firms to do some work. And so they're able to post those opportunities in this hub solicitation opportunities. There you'll have to visit it periodically. So just make a note, every week or a couple of weeks, go out and check and see some of the things that are there. And again, we've talked about our business development assessment, which we're in process of revamping in order that we can get, do some group sessions rather than every single one of those on an individual basis. Okay, so highlight state term contracts. It's just simply another layer of, or another kind of opportunity level. The state of North Carolina has these term contracts. And in other words, what they've done is for certain things that they purchase a lot of, they've made special arrangements with vendors in order to provide whatever that is. And so there's another level of being able to seek opportunities. And so if your business, you've grown well, kind of matured your business, then that may be something that you want to look at. And for places where there already are hub firms that are part of those statewide term contracts, then they will be listed on the site as well, right? Here is here's what the EVP homepage looks like. And so there's one place where you can go to browse for solicitations. You can browse for vendors. If you need to access your vendor account, then you can sign in or register, all from the same main homepage. Here is an example of, again, the opportunities that we talked about. So within the EVP system, there's solicitations and you can search for things there. And then we have the hub office solicitation dashboard, 2 different avenues for you to be able to understand what opportunities are for your business. This is just a expansion of what the hub solicitation dashboard looks like. And so you can see, as of when this one was taken, there were over 400 postings that were out there. It kind of gives you a summary also of where some of those opportunities are coming from, the cities where that business is located, to help give you some indication of how to find things that may best fit for your business. All right. And so with that, I am going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Mr. Melvin Williams, and he's going to talk about some of the great work that he is doing. Melvin is a hub liaison with one of our agencies and has been doing some tremendous work during the time that he has been there. So Melvin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Shay. Good morning, everyone. So just to kind of catch up where Shay has talked about is the opportunities that are out there for you hub vendors. When Shay showed the slide, around 6% were in goods and services for hub vendors. When I started in this role for the Department of Public Safety, it was around 2.3%, which last quarter was over 14% with hub participation. There is DAC, Department of Transportation, and North Carolina Public Instruction. They are the 3 agencies that have hub liaison managers now. And then the other cabinet agencies are working through their procurement specialist office, which they have just assigned someone. But in 2020, Governor Cooper almost mandated that all cabinet agencies, because of COVID, to look at hiring someone. And so what this has done is basically put an individual within the department to be a liaison for our hub vendors. We've seen the numbers increase and the opportunities and rule changes have changed with our delegations, which are earmarked to help our hub vendors with smaller purchases and helping them to get into the door. And so one of the things here at DAC that I've been able to do is to do meet and greet opportunities where you get an opportunity to get in front of the end user, talk about your products, and talk about how to be a partner. And that's the approach that I've been taking, is to be a partner with a state agency to provide goods and services. You saw the numbers on the construction side of the house. There's over 20%. I foresee the goods and services by the end of this year to be really close to, would it be over 10%, probably close to 15%. Like I said, we have one department that's right at 14% right now, and the other departments are close behind. Then what's bringing that number down or balancing that number out is not all departments have a hub liaison manager that's working directly with our hub vendors and our end users. But I foresee at least by next year that we would easily be exceeding the 10%. And so I would suggest that you find out who that person is. I'm at DAC. LaShonda Johnson, I know, is at Public Safety, and Nicole is at DOT. Those are the three that are already departments, which is interesting that the three largest department in the state agency, cabinet agencies, have a person in place right now, and those departments are leading the way as the hub participation. And so with that, Shay, I will turn it back over to you, but I just want to just kind of give a quick update as to where we are as the state agencies and how opportunities are now being opened up for our hub vendors, and the work is there. You saw the dollar amount. Last quarter, DAC alone spent over $172 million just in one department. So those opportunities are there for you to take advantage of, and just reach out to your hub liaison person within the three agencies that I named.
All right. Thank you, Melvin. I appreciate that. And I guess I do want to also share just one example that came through the other day, and Melvin was a part of this. The question was, well, I have a such and such type of business. Should I get hub certified? And in this particular case, it was what? It was a flower shop, right?
Yep.
Can you just share the story, Melvin?
Oh, so we was talking about flowers, and I think it was Bonnie was talking that someone had called her that was not certified but owned a floral shop. And that particular day, I had just done a meet and greet with one of our prisons and talking with some of the folks there about some of their needs. And because they have night classes, it was asked if I knew, because they do graduations of the offenders in various classes, if I knew a hub vendor that was in the floral business because they needed some floor to decorate the, actually they was using the gym and for their graduation to give. And so it does, I think what Shay is saying is that within the state government, we buy everything. And so don't think because what you are doing is not a fit. Reach out to someone and at least have a conversation and see if your what you're selling is a fit. Don't assume.
So thank you, Melvin, and thank you, Bonnie, for having introduced that the other day. It's just a live example of sometimes how things can work. We just never know how things are going to come together. So again, for firms that are considering, yes, do get hub certified. I didn't talk about it really. We had a Retool NC program that was in place from 2020 to 2022. It was related to COVID. But businesses that were either hub or DBE certified received anywhere from 10 to 25,000 in grant funding. And so over $40 million went out to hub or DBE certified firms here in North Carolina during that time frame. So it's just another example of something that could happen. Now, unfortunately, we don't still have dollars in that pot in order to continue offering grants, but we never know when something is coming. And if you're certified, you will get notification of any things that we are aware of and able to pass along. Okay.
Hey,
Yes.
Miss
Yes.
McIntyre, before we go on, we've got 3 questions here. Do you want to say them
Sure.
to the end, or can you take these three questions?
Go ahead. Yeah, let's take them.
All right. So we've got Christian says that when they re-registered as a hub, they didn't receive a letter that has a number on it. And she's asking, is the hub going to send out a letter that has a number on it to firms that are already registered?
Okay, so great question. And so the number is not yet on the letter. So the only place you're going to see it, it's been captured for a future upgrade to actually have it on the letter. And so if for any reason you need it, you can still get it from your profile. But as I said, no, this is the first time we've even had the numbers. And so nobody is going to be, I don't think anybody's going to be asking you for the number. But if something comes up that you really do need it, we can get it for you until that next upgrade is in place when it will actually show on your letter.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is, if not covered in the presentation, does Hub certified mean you are MWBE or DBE? So
it does not mean that you are DBE, and whether it may mean, well, let me answer it this way. When the Hub certification letter comes, it will have a designation if you are a minority firm or a woman-owned firm. So in a sense, that may be required, that may be considered as an MBE or a WBE. But at the end of the day, it really depends on who's asking for it, okay? Because in some cases, depending on where the opportunity is, in some cases, they may be looking for one of those national certifications, or they may be looking for you to have come through, let's say that it's a company, it's a private corporation, they may have an internal process where they are categorizing. And so in that particular case, just present your letter to say that, yes, I am an MBE, I am a WBE, and in most cases, that's going to fill the need. The DBE certification is through the Department of Transportation, and you have to go through the full process in order to become certified. Theirs is technically a federal certification that's managed at the state level. And so whereas Hub has reciprocity that if you have DBE certification, you can more easily become Hub certified. It does not work in reverse, and it is definitely two separate certifications.
All right, and there was one more, but you answered that one in the first question, in the first answer. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. We will we'll continue on then, and we'll have some time still at the end for a few more questions. This is going right into the electronic vendor portal. So our EVP portal allows for searching. So here's browsing vendors. And of course, once your firm is certified, you can take a look at your information, you know, not really in a particular reason to do so. But then when others are coming to look for your information, this is the path that they're going to take. So if an agency or prime contractor, whomever, is coming to search for firms, or maybe some of the municipalities themselves, depending on how their programs are set up. So they come here and just use that Hub certification block, status block that's in the middle. Don't worry about that vendor status block that's on the left-hand side of the screen. Just use that block in the middle for Hub certification status. So there, select that you're looking for certified firms. And then you can specify any other number of criteria based on what it is that is of interest to you. So there's a drop-down box there, that arrow. You click that arrow on the page, it displays all the rest of these screens that you're seeing here. So you can also look for, let's say if you're looking for general contractors, then there's that contractor category code that's on the lower left-hand side of the screen. If you're looking for folks in businesses that are located in particular areas, then you can specify, a city and or county. Now, when you add the counties, you do have to do them, kind of one by one. There's a list there on the screen to allow you to do it. If you're looking for particular commodity codes or construction codes, then again, it's going to pop up where you add the different ones that you're looking to find. So again, number of different ways in order to filter through the information and ultimately generate a list of certified firms. Now, in this particular case, this person has chosen to go in. And so in addition to looking for firms that are certified, they're looking for vendors that have data as a part of their vendor name. And so again, they're returning. So people will approach, because here's the thing. The system uses commodity codes, it uses construction codes, but at the end of the day, any coding system, there's no such thing as a perfect coding system, if you will. So those codes are going to work really, really well for some firms. They're going to be down to the target, exact level for what that business does. But in some other cases, it's not going to be, the codes just don't fit as well. And so though it may fit for most of the firms, there's going to always be some set of firms that it doesn't work as well for. So when it comes to searching, when it comes to looking for solicitations, any of those kinds of things, there sometimes is, a kind of a different way that you will find to utilize the information that is in the EVP system. So again, some of that is going to be customized to a degree. And for those that are searching for other firms, then we've got a couple of folks on staff that can, kind of help you with identifying information. Once you have come out with a list of the firms, then of course you can click on each of the firms and you can see the information that's listed in the middle of the screen under that vendor information, just to find out whatever you need to know about that particular firm. And of course, if they have a website, the information is captured there as well. Okay. All right. So again, we've hit a lot of things high level. I want to just end with this before we open the floor up for any additional information or questions. On the Hub website, we have a link for upcoming events. If you're interested, for those that are not yet certified, we have a monthly training that we do where we talk about the Hub certification, and we also talk about the DBE certification for Department of Transportation. So that session is about an hour, and we invite you to come and be a part of that. The trainings that the Hub office is doing will also be posted there. And of course, for firms that are already Hub certified, then we email that information out to you all so that you can register for the training that's there. As I mentioned before, we have a monthly Purchasing 101 workshop that helps you to understand how state government works as it relates to firms that, kind of how the process of formal versus informal solicitations. And, there's some tips in there about proposals and, kind of how you put those together. Those are some things that we do. We have the Small Business Administration that will be with us next week. If there's no shutdown at the federal level, we have a workshop that will be held on Thursday where they will be talking about a program that's called Bid Speed. They have a 7J technical assistance program that we're going to be learning about that is open, for participation from qualifying firms. So those are some of the examples of things that we have available to you in order to support the work that you're doing. And here is some contact information. If you're interested in certification, you have questions about certification, please contact our office. And there is the email address, and there's a phone number also. And for the NCSBE certification, same thing. If you need to access help from the electronic vendor portal help desk, there is the phone number, select option 2 when you log in, and someone will assist you at each one of these places. If you have additional information, requests, or want to learn about becoming a client of our NCMBDA Business Center, then there is an email and a phone number there also. And with that, that's all of our formal presentation. Are there some additional questions that folks have?
Yeah, we do have a few questions that came through, starting with Christian Rabuli. Christian says, is there going to be an EVP training? I'm asking because I was going to bid a project, but it was through Ariba and it was different.
So I'm going to have to ask the EVP team to respond on that one. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Shay. Yes, so Shay showed some beautiful slides of the new EVP system. My name is Amanda Meyer, and I'm with the EVP team, the NCE Procurement Office, which is part of the Division of Purchasing Contracts. So let me share my screen real quick, and we're not going to do a full training today, but I'd like to point out a couple of helpful things for those of you who are looking for opportunities with the state. So let me grab this real fast. This is what I want. Share. All right, can y'all see that now?
Yes.
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 Wonderful. All right, so this is that EVP homepage that we were talking about. And here there are a couple of things to note. So as Shay was just talking about, the vendor search, you can browse vendors by clicking here or here. This is how buyers go in to look for registered vendors with that hub certification and so on. But the question was specifically about solicitations. And so this is the new site, evp.nc.gov. And up at the top, the solicitations tab is where we're going to see those posted opportunities. And there's 2 categories. And so for those of you who haven't been out here yet, this filters is very helpful. I'm looking for solicitations that are open that I can actively respond to. I can see that this top one was posted by the Department of Adult Corrections, which is one of our state agencies. And then this second one is Ports Authority, which is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to look at the Port Authority one first. So if I click on the solicitation number to view those details, I'm going to see a respond to solicitation button. That means that bid responses for this formal solicitation are either going to be via paper or via EVP directly. In order to respond to this, to click this button, I see this warning message. I have to be logged in as a vendor first. And so when I go to sign in, this is the kind of public service announcement. Vendors who were registered prior to July 10th, 2023, when this new EVP went live, their information was pulled over into the new system. But the first time you go to log in, you need to establish your login credentials. So if you don't have your login credentials set up, you're going to need to click this sign up now button, and that will allow you to establish those credentials and access your EVP information. After you've established that, every time you can just sign in, and then this respond to solicitation button will be available. But it's important to note that all the information for this solicitation is available. This is the solicitation document right here, and it is a PDF, and I can just open it up and look at that. If the buyer adds any addenda, if they answer some questions, if they do anything, that will also appear right here in the middle of the screen. So you do not have to be logged in to view the information for the solicitation, but if you are trying to respond, then you are going to need to access. And again, if you have not accessed your EVP account since July 10th, 2023, you're going to have to establish those credentials. If you guys need step-by-step instructions on that, one thing I really want to make sure to note, and then I'll come right back and talk about those state agency solicitations and how they're different. Over on our eprocurement.nc.gov, it is important to note that there is all the vendor training, and Shay mentioned this, there was a slide about it, but this vendor training page has all of this information with step-by-step instructions. So if I have not logged in yet, if I go to this registering an EVP, those first couple steps are how to set up those login credentials. If I'm trying to update contact information or anything, if I go into this managing, it's going to tell you to go straight in, assuming that you've already logged in once. But if you haven't done that, just go to the first couple steps of this registering an EVP and it will show you. Everyone received an email that week of July 10th with those instructions. But also we get a lot of emails. So if you missed the email with those step-by-step, how to establish your login credentials, they're right here at the beginning of the registering an EVP. And I can show you guys that. You click into here, you open up this job aid. And it's easy peasy to see how to take a minute to load for us. But right here, you go to EVP, and the first things that you need to do are sign in or register, choose to register. When you get to this login page is where you click that sign up now. That's the important step for the first time you're logging in since July 10th. So just want to make sure everyone saw that information. And then back to those solicitations. So again, all the information is here. If it is posted by a county, a community college, a city, any of those, they're going to have this respond to solicitation. But if we go back to those search results and we see the, I'm going to turn back on that open solicitations, and I see this from Adult Corrections. So this is a state agency and they use that Ariba sourcing tool. And the reason that is important is that vendors are going to respond through the Ariba network. And so when they click this intends to participate button, they are going to be taken into Ariba to respond. So the attachments are still all available. We've got the initial solicitation document. There's an addendum that was posted more recently. So that is all here. I can see all of that information without logging in. But if I want to respond, two things of note. One, all vendors who want to use the sourcing tool need to be registered for the NCE procurement, not just EVP. And that's part of your registration. Most of you are already there. There's a very small percentage that isn't. But if you ever have trouble clicking this intends to participate button, even after you're signed in, just reach out to our help desk and we'll work on that with you. But when you click this intends to participate button, it will lead you to that. And again, if you're looking for instructions on that, the second section in the EVP training page talks about what we just went through, viewing and responding to solicitations in EVP. So that's clicking that respond to posting button. And then down here, number 3 is actually responding once you've logged into that Ariba network and giving your responses there. So those are the 2 different kinds of solicitations that are posted, the ones where you respond directly in EVP by dropping a file, or in some cases, construction in particular, often there are paper bid responses, in which case those instructions are in that solicitation document on how you should respond. So for EVP, my main takeaways are, if you have not accessed your account since July 10th, make sure to establish your login credentials to access your information. If you are registering new or you have never had an EVP account, you're not Hub certified, you can follow that registration guide from beginning to end. And then for the solicitation side of things, there are two types: responding directly in the EVP system or intent to participate, but both are visible right here on this EVP solicitations page. You can see all of that. And then this filters is where you can really dive down into particular departments. If you want something for Department of Adult Corrections, just head down to the department and then choose, pardon me, adult correction and hit apply. And these are all the open bids that DAC has currently posted out there. Are there any other questions that came into the chat with that?
Yep, there were. There's one other open here. So Christian says that they've received the emails with notifications about opportunities, but upon clicking on the process, it takes me to a page and there's not enough information. I'm not sure if I'm doing it well. I'd like to see the bid documents, dates, etc. And so
everything should be here on the posting itself, in the attachments. So the only thing I would mention is that it's important to scroll down to see that attachment, depending on your browser screen and Zoom and everything. This may be below your visibility. So just make sure to scroll down. Attachments is everything that they should need. And then opening up that PDF of the solicitation document should be the information they're looking for. If there's ever a problem that the buyer did not post properly, feel free to reach out to our help desk, because if you as a vendor can't see what you need, then no one else can either. So we can either help you find what you're looking for, or can help the buyer make sure that everything is posted that needs to be.
got it. I brought Christian over to Christian, did that answer your question? Or Christian, you can speak if you'd like to. Everything's good there. Thank you. Thanks, Christian. All right, and that was the last question that came into the question and answer.
So if I may, I have a question. Thank you so much, Shay. You did a phenomenal job as always. And additionally, Amanda. So Amanda, I think this question is for you. If we neglected, or if individual or company neglected to log into the system before July 2023, and they're up for recertification, does that mean they have to input all of that information in again into the system and start all over?
If they, in order to be certified, they had an EVP registration, and so that would have been brought over. So they should go into their and establish the login credentials. So go to evp.nc.gov and click the sign in button, and they'll be brought to a sign in screen where they can click to log in, and then they need to click this sign up now to establish credentials. So they're not signing up for EVP as a whole, they're just establishing the connection to be able to view their EVP information. And then from there, the recertification process, there is a job aid specifically for that. So Hub and NC SBE recertification. This starts with you being in your account and going to that certifications tab. So that is where these instructions are going to be specific for a vendor that is currently certified. If they don't remember that sign up now button, again, that's in that registering an EVP, and it was also sent in an email in early July. So that information should all be there. It's just that one extra step with new EVP to get in. They do not have to re-register an EVP. Their information would have been brought over. They just would need to access it via new credentials.
Very good. Thank you.
And may I add, I'm sorry, may I add one thing to that as well? Rochelle, is that on the recertification, so you'll get a list of required documents that goes along with that. And right now, there is one document that is in fact missing from that screen. So what happens is the certification specialist that's reviewing your file will send you one additional document. But they will work with you to ensure until we, get that with the future upgrade, then they'll be able to get that document to you so that you can complete the process.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
This is Kathy Gaines. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I some kind of way got caught up in. I thought I had logged in before, but I'm not sure. But I've been going through that while I'm here on this call. And so finally what I did was I went ahead, like Amanda said, and did the register. And rather than clicking in the login, I finally went down to register. But when it comes up to your surname and comes up to your given name and surname, is the given name your full name and surname just your last name, or do you just put that in twice? Put your full name in twice.
First name is your given name. So Amanda is my given name and my surname is Meyer. So first name and last name.
First name and last name, okay.
And we were unable to change those fields. We agree that they're a little not normal. First name and last name is much more accepted. So we'll continue to take the feedback that first name and last name would be superior.
All right, wonderful. So, Ms. McIntyre, as always, thank you so much for the information. Amanda, thank you. Before we go on, I want to take a second to just introduce to everyone Rochelle Latimer. She's the president of TRS&I Group. And we also have a few other members of the bond program management team here as well. Rochelle, if you'd like to say a few words.
Again, just thank you all for, as always, considering us and conducting this workshop. We certainly appreciate it. And for all the attendees, I hope that you will able to gain some knowledge. And we look forward to working with you in the future on some of our opportunities that we have within Guilford County School System. So please take advantage of these different workshops, as well as logging on to the state's website and reviewing some of the training that's already recorded. So thank you all very much. Thank you.